to speak to us just about the GrowHaus space. It was kind of unexpected. He popped through and he saw the huge tour and he said, I want to talk. So this is Adam.
Yeah, how's it going, everybody?
Good.
Thank you for making it out to our facility today. Really appreciate you coming, especially on kind of a dreary day like this. So, like Allison said, my name is Adam. I'm one of the co-founders of the GrowHaus, so I've kind of let it do a lot of its transformations over the last 5-6 years. I was born and raised here in Denver, and I'm a designer and teacher of something called permaculture. Have you guys heard of that before?
Yep.
Yeah? Does anybody want to give their brief kind of explanation of what it is?
Creating a sustainable system of food growth that involves humans, plants, animals.
Great, yeah,
Over time.
That's awesome. I like to say it's basically creating human structures that make nature better instead of worse. I think we're all used to this idea growing up that like everything we do as humans is like this zero-sum game and it has to hurt natural systems. But what permaculture shows us is this whole design science that's based in ecosystems. And it shows us that if we're smart and we understand how nature works, we can actually meet our needs of food production, but also other things too, like shelter and our social systems and economic systems, and actually work with nature and make nature work even better than it would without us. And so it's a really inspiring, profound way of looking at the world. So I was trained in that and brought that background to what we do here at the GrowHaus. And so you'll notice that everything we do, not just the way we grow our food, but the way we interact with our community, the way we think about how we earn a profit instead of just relying on grants, seeking earned income from all kinds of sources. All of that is about this idea of regenerative systems, systems that take care of themselves the way nature does, right? You don't have to go into the forest and water the forest to make sure the trees have enough water. You don't have to give the trees fertilizer. It takes care of itself. And so we're seeking to emulate that in everything we do here at the GrowHaus, and that's what permaculture is all about. So this space here is called the GrowHaus that you've been in for the last half an hour or so. And this is our kind of education and demonstration space. So we do all kinds of different activities here, from educational workshops for people of all ages and backgrounds, service learning programs with school groups. We run about 2,000 students here through every year. And those are everyone from preschoolers who live in this neighborhood, all the way on up to elementary, high school, college students, graduate students, even adults that are here with their companies doing like corporate team building programs. That happens 2 or 3 times a week here as various groups come in for field trips and get their hands dirty learning about urban farming and food justice. We also do obviously a lot of programs for people here in the neighborhood. So we run cooking classes and gardening classes and micro business classes. I don't know if you noticed that big area with plastic behind it. Did anybody take a peek back there and see what we had?
No.
So that is one of the programs that we're doing as part of our micro enterprise development with residents here in this neighborhood. So it's a seedling program. So we are growing thousands and thousands of little baby seedlings, little tiny cauliflowers and cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers and herbs. And so we're growing them up, and then we're going to sell them. Actually, we have a lot for sale today, and over the next couple months as the temperature warms up and people get ready to start gardening, we're going to sell all those seedlings, and all of that money will go directly towards providing income for people here in this neighborhood. Right? So it's not just about the healthy food, it's about access to economic opportunity as well. And so that's one aspect of how we do that. We also run a permaculture design course. So that's what I took in 2008 to learn about permaculture, and it's taught all over the world. So we teach one of those every year here at the GrowHaus. It's 40 people from all walks of life, all up and down the Front Range, come together one weekend every month for 7 months. And it's basically this kind of sustainability boot camp. So you're learning how water works, how trees work, how soils work, and how to incorporate that into designing healthy landscapes, and then also to design healthy communities, most importantly, because here in the urban environment, our kind of keystone species is humans, right? So we got to learn how to work with each other. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of what happens here in the GrowHaus. We also do all kinds of special events in here. We do in every fall something called Harvest Week, where we get a bunch of restaurants to come and cook meals and we're actually having a taste of that here in a few weeks. May 7th, is it? May 8th is our Tambien pop-up dinner. So if you're interested in this delicious catered farm-to-table dinner, that's a fundraiser for the GrowHaus. This space will be transformed with all kinds of Christmas lights and candles and you know, locally distilled spirits and locally made food. So if you're interested in checking the space out on an evening with some really cool people, keep that date in mind, May 8th. Yeah, any questions about the educational programs we run or permaculture or anything like that? Or the history and background of the GrowHaus?
How did you get started? I mean, you had an idea and...
Yeah, so I was, like I said, I was trained in permaculture and ecological design, and I went to college. I grew up here in Denver, but I went to college out east in New York City, and then I moved back here because I wanted to apply some of that knowledge to my own hometown. I was, you know, doing a lot of gardening and teaching around town, and then basically this building was purchased by a local developer named Paul Tamburello, who had an interest in local food and social justice. He saw that there was this abandoned greenhouse in the middle of a neighborhood that lacked access to healthy food, and he said, what an amazing opportunity. So he bought it with this kind of, you know, vague intention of doing what we're doing here today, and then I met him through a mutual friend to actually help envision what that could look like and make the connections with the community and raise the funding and oversee the renovations. And so basically me and him and a few other people kind of were that beginning group that kind of had the initial inspiration to get it off the ground.
So do you have, like, to spread this idea to other cities, communities throughout North America, is there, I want to say, like, templates for taking up ground plot, for example, financially putting up a greenhouse?
Sure,
yeah, you know, there's container growing where 40-foot seed can, you drop it. There's systems like that.
And the truth is that, you know, the solutions are all around us once we know where to look, and every situation requires different solutions. You know, we tell people all the time, if we tried to take this exact model and put it even in the neighborhood next door, let alone another community on the other side of the country, it wouldn't work. And what makes this organization work is that paying attention to this specific context, this specific community. And so, you know, to answer your question, is there any templates or process or systems? It's really that, for me, it was that permaculture thinking, that understanding of how to work with the systems that are already there, how to use the resources at our disposal. In permaculture, we like to say the problem is the solution, right? So how to take what's already here and turn it around into something that's making the neighborhood thrive, right? Like this used to be part of that kind of industrial legacy, that polluting legacy for the neighborhood, this infrastructure. So we said, how can we take that and flip it into something that heals instead of harms? And so that mindset, that attitude of kind of thoughtful observation, learning from ecosystems, generating an economic yield as well as a social and environmental yield, all of that stuff is applicable anywhere. But the specific solutions are going to change depending on who you're working with.
Can you please go into a little bit of the programs that you offer here for the neighborhood, the people in this community?
Yeah, sure, sure. So we offer all kinds of different programs, and it's expanding all the time. I can barely even keep up with what our staff is doing. But just, you know, a fraction of what we do with the community. We do micro farm training. So that's an 8-week program to just learn the basics of planting seeds, composting, beekeeping, raising animals, stuff like that. Then we do an herbalism class. That's a 6-week class around, you know, a lot of people in this community don't have access to healthcare, right? So how can you grow your own healthcare with healthy herbs and, you know, reach back to these kind of time-honored indigenous solutions. We do, like I mentioned, this micro-enterprise class. That's a really intensive 12-week long class that's taking those skills that they learned in the previous 2 classes and leveraging them into starting small businesses. And then we also do one-off classes on nutrition and cooking. We do a lot of classes with folks here with kids in the neighborhood around cooking and growing your own food. We're actually getting ready for our 6th, I believe, Seed to Seed program. So that is a summer program for teenagers, a lot of whom live in this neighborhood, and that's a youth leadership program that uses food as a lens for how they can become leaders and empowered in their own communities. And then what else? I don't know if you guys heard about Cosechando Salud. That's our, every Monday, that's our program where we offer a basket of free donated food from farmers markets and grocery stores as well as a cooking class at the same time, where people can pick up that basket and learn how to cook with the food that they're about to take home. So those are some of the programs. We're adding more literally, every month.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you guys again for
you.
coming. And if you are interested and have time to stick around, I know the folks sorting the food boxes could use an extra hand or two, and so they definitely appreciate it. Would be happy to hang out with you. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And let's move back towards the aquaponics area so that you can peek in the windows and look